Hello, it's me, it's Angie. I'm here in my studio and it is holiday season and it just snowed yesterday here in Minnesota in my Minneapolis city, my lovely city of Minneapolis. I was just thinking, what should I make that's holiday-esque and wintry-esque and that is fun and people could make? And so I thought about everybody's favorite snowman, Olaf. Sorry, this is my Google Dots or something. It's not like a tongue ring or his lip ring. Anyways, let's make Olaf, you guys. What do you think? Okay, sweet, let's go. Alright, so once you have these into these 5 shapes, these various sizes, you want to start rolling them up. I usually start with the body or the belly. If you've watched a few of my videos or taken my courses or anything, you'll see that I normally start with the body like this. Then that upper torso piece, a couple little feet. And when I get to the head here, I'm gonna roll it into a V shape. You can see my hands are tilted where the pinky side is connected and the upper side is open to make it a little bit tapered on one end. And then to get like the top part where his eyes are gonna go, I just roll with my finger. Cutting some wires. I'm gonna go all the way through the belly and the torso and leave some out for one leg, and then use the shorter wire to attach the second leg. There goes the upper torso on there, and then there's enough for the head, and I'm just kind of checking out that it works for the size. So now I'm going to that bottom part underneath the dip where you can kind of see where the nose would go. And sorry that it's really bright and that white blends in with the white background. I wasn't really thinking when I did that. Anyways, I rolled sort of a smile shape underneath the protruding part where the nose goes with the ball tool. Then just kept using the ball tool to like shape that bottom part of the smile. Now I've used a knitting needle and this like sharper detail tool to get the little edges of the mouth, like of the smile, up into a point. Now I'm gonna take that same size ball tool and put a little nose and a couple of eye sockets there. Looks really scary at this point, like a big weird skull. Although that'd be kind of fun to make a skull like that. I might do that later. So then gonna use this light blue to fill in. I'm just can't see it on the camera, I don't think, just flattening it in my little pasta machine. I'm gonna take an X-Acto knife. So I needed to make it a little wider and a little shorter and get those edges a little more pointy. And that bottom, I'm just gonna lightly lay it in there and like trim the end while it's sort of in there without getting it stuck in first. And I'm using the wider end of the detail tool a little bit, knitting needle, just using different tools to lay this in there without getting it too dented and poked on and stuff. Here we go, I stole a little bit of that white clay, so if all you have is the one block, you might want to cut off a chunk for teeth and eyes later. But this I'm using for, and a lip. So I just didn't like the way that edge went totally, so I was just making a thin little lip. Totally not necessary, but I just wanted to cover up a little bit of the messiness of that edge. So I'm just roll some eyeballs. Can already tell they're too big, but I also remember that they were too big. Needed to go quite a bit smaller. those in there. Make some little pupils. Don't want them to be too little because Olaf's got some nice big friendly pupils. Now we got some orange clay. Gonna roll it into sort of a rounded point. Use the fat end of my X-Acto knife to put some lines on there. Make it carrot-like. Does it fit? Yep. So I'm gonna take a little bit of liquid clay. I found some of my liquid clay, which you'll have to do. Put the little nose on. Now I'm gonna make the teeth. So I'm just taking a little worm and flattening it a little bit and cutting the edges. And I'm gonna try to use, I don't recommend cutting right onto your finger, but I do it a lot. And I'm just gonna lay that in there and use the tool to kind of press it down a little bit and shape it a tiny bit in the mouth. Looking pretty good, Olaf. Alright. Now, but right here, I just made a light blue that's thicker and then this sort of teal blue that's thinner. And now I'm just shaping with my fingers that you can hardly see into like a tiny little thin kind of half circle shape for each eyelid. And again, I'm cutting on my finger, don't recommend, but these are just gonna be his little eyelids. Tap those on, and depending on which way they're shaped, they can kind of like make his emotion one way or the other. And what's this? Eyebrows, probably a little bit of black clay. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just re-rolled them. Not sure why. Get rounded ends. And I'm just gonna press those on. That is looking like a little Olaf face. Alright, let's put it on. Oh yeah. That looks like a real big nose from the bird's eye view. Alright, now I'm making some charcoal and I'm adding, doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I'm just kind of smooshing in some dark brown into the black. Just, I guess for my own self, it makes it look a little more charcoal-y. But, and then I'm just kind of tapping them up to give them that charcoal feel. And I'm gonna make just a little indent, it just makes a little spot to put the quote-unquote glue in, which is actually liquid clay like Bacon Bond or poly paste I like to use usually, but I'm using Bacon Bond right now. And now I'm gonna roll 3 different colors of brown into sort of worms approximately the same length, and just twist and roll and bend and just kind of marble them together to get somewhat of a wood grain look. Not necessarily or not necessary. You could probably make the arms with just a solid brown just fine. And again, like on the second one that I made, I ended up doing this in a much, I think, faster and easier way. Here I'm making all the fingers separate and then smoothing it all together. On the other one, I did it more like I do my normal hands, and I made one end of each stick arm a little thicker, and then I cut the 3 fingers, and then I just added a thumb instead of adding all 4 fingers or whatever, all 3 fingers and thumb. And there, see, I don't know if you saw that, but I even added a little bit of clay. I'm trying to make this thing on the head, but this will do. I just did them all separate and kind of cut little side knobs off. I feel like it could have been better, but 'tis what it is. Alright, curving the little ends. Now I'm going to try to get a wire in there without mushing it up. Use my needle nose pliers. I do that a lot when I have sort of a delicate piece that I want to put on with wire, so I don't smush up all the clay. So there we go. Once I have the arms like the size and shape and everything that I want. Again, it's the first time I did this, and I think I figured out ways to do it a little faster the next time, but once I got them made, just pop them on. One arm, two arms, pop, pop. And there we go. We got an Olaf. What do you think, Frank? I'm making Zoloft, his twin sister, and kind of the same thing, making a shorter mouth. Basically follow all the same steps, except I did a couple of things a little bit faster because I just made Olaf, and so I thought of better ways to do a couple of things, namely the arms and the little wooden hair on the top. Here I'm making cute little lips. So, and oh, and also the eyelids, I just made a circle of the lighter color, and then I took the darker color and made a line and flattened it on there, and then I cut it to where the edge was like thin line. Tried to give her a little more like pointy eyebrows and didn't like that. Made them smaller and a different color. Also made her wood with more light brown in it. And I made a little bow. And the very finished piece here in these photos, I actually painted them a little bit. I painted over the white because when you work with polymer clay, sometimes you just get other colors and little specks of dirt, and they show up. Well, I don't know about dirt, but just specks of stuff that just show up in there. And so I just painted over all the white with white paint, and then I painted over her bow and her lips as well to get them a little more matchy and to add some gloss. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like this or any of my other videos, please like and subscribe. Alright, I hope you have an awesome weekend. Thank you. Bye.